salvo! Torpedoes locked! Set the course. Leave their hull! Throw across the star! Another salvo! Macro cannon, volley! Another salvo! Lay in the course. Unleash our vengeful salvo!
Blessed are the faithful.
Messiah knows all, comprehends all. This statement is true. Algorithmic violations have been recorded, as a result of which I twice performed an offering to the cogitators of corrected data vows and ruled out the possibility of sabotage. I hypothesize that the violation is a consequence of the discontent of the ship's machine spirits. I recommend a procedure of placation of the honored spirits for the glory of the Omnissiah and the steel angels sent by him. May your labors be effective and fruitful. Messiah, no.
You bet I do, Lord Captain. Okay, so we went to footfall once. Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrive at the place, and what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants, all clustered around little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star. Me? Not a clue, Lord Captain. I don't know who Lady Theodora would have told about a thing like that, but it definitely wasn't me. Why would you whisper that to me now? Why? Lord Captain, I don't know anything about caches or Lady Theodora's secrets, but the voices have just reminded me about something. I was once given the chance to try some real wine. Lady Theodora gave me some. Not just any old synthetic booze, but her favorite plonk. She always drank it in her palace. It was golden in color, and its name was Flame of Purity. A silly name, but the flavor was so intense and like nothing I'd ever tasted before or since. Lord Captain, forgive me, but it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you. Every psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it. Training, habit, and a little amasec and a couple other things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow. Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me, I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight. Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control. Or idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toys. If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster. All right, that's what I'm here for after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now. All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you, Another road. The road begins at the threshold of the expanse and leads to the bowels of the emerging world.
Reading the threads of fate is not meant for you, slave of the enthroned corpse. Step into the embrace of doom, for thus was it preordained by the architect of fates.
That wasn't me. I swear on everything that's holy. I don't know what the second road is or who watches over it, but I beg you, stay away from it. Of course.
You have my complete attention. I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me, not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn 3. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained, and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium. I do, but I have no ties to my homeworld now. None except my first name. I left Guizorn 3 when I was still a child. My family disowned me, stripping me of my family name. I was given a new one by those who trained me. Even for a noble, being branded a psyker is a mark of eternal shame. I experienced that firsthand before I was put on the black ship. Like many psykers unaware of their curse, I found out when a strong emotional reaction triggered an involuntary response. My great-aunt had a pet grink. One day, it bit me, and I boiled it from inside out. And when my great-aunt slapped me for what I'd done, I boiled her too. When I arrived on Holy Terra and was tested, I was found to be suitable material for becoming a sanctioned psyker, able to bend his curse to his own will. I can assure you that the adepts of the Astra Telepathica were right in their assessment. Picture a vast prison ship, filled with frightened, angry psykers who can't control their abilities and who have just lost their homes and their families. Some of them were children and adolescents like I was. Some were monstrous creatures who no longer had the right to be called human, or psychopaths who reveled in their impure powers. Once, when one of the miscreants broke free, those in command simply depressurized the bay and got rid of the culprit, along with the prisoners and crew tainted by him. But even after that, I heard the echo of inhuman suffering and terror that filled that part of the ship. It grieves me to recall that episode to this day. No. First, I was accorded the status of a psyker fit for service in the Imperial Guard, where I then spent several years. It was only afterward that I became an agent of the Golden Throne. since the day of my initiation as an acolyte. So, decades. How many real years it's been, it's hard to say. When I return from a journey through the warp, I often discover that much more or much less time has passed in real space. Indeed, I have visited many of the places brought to the Emperor's light, and those sullied by the filth of the arch-enemy. In truth, even after all these years spent visiting the various corners of the Imperium and looking beyond its borders, I still consider the Segmentum Solar to be the greatest of all humanity's bastions. Nothing compares to the majesty of Holy Terra, the might of Mars, the grandeur of the segment's other worlds. You can't really be expecting me to answer that question, can you? The first step for biomancers such as myself is to take control of the processes of their own body, including aging. I've endured innumerable hazards in my work. If I allowed every trace of them to remain, I would look completely different today. Gladly. Of course not. The Lord Inquisitor's entourage comprises dozens of people. The best of the best. Experts in various fields and disciplines. Some of them I know personally. Others I have never met. To be honest, I'm not even certain that the people I know are still alive. I used to work with other acolytes of the Lord Inquisitor, but in the Coronis Expanse, I have been working alone. I had never even considered such a thing before you asked. Perhaps I do. Sometimes. Perhaps. When we both find a suitable time. We are not a retinue. We are acolytes. As for your question, I am closer than anyone else to the one I call my personal teacher. The Lord Inquisitor deemed me worthy of undertaking the most important and sensitive tasks requiring the attention of agents of the Golden Throne. Such as?
Domin. I met her once when I was young. The Vizier saw a serpent hiding among those close to Domin Theodora, ready to sink its fangs into her throat. I was ordered to find the serpent and sever the soul from its body. I watched and waited for weeks. I hid among the shadows, the air ducts and the faceless masses. Once I found the serpent, I sliced off its head and returned to the temple. I doubt that Domin Theodora ever saw me. But the 3 ritual cuts I left behind on the body let her know that this death was pleasing to him. They sent us a grand feast from the upper decks before the cycle's end. We gave it to the hungry. Lords and wretches are equal before death. If such is the Undying One's will, I will guide you to him, Domin. The Gothic we use to communicate is different to that spoken on the upper decks. Domin has many meanings. Giver of life, Lord or Lady of the Ark, and Shadowless Sun. The matriarch Spider gave this title to the rogue trader who allowed her to form the blood-spun web. We use other titles as well. For example, Venai means Master of the Immaterium or Watcher of the Veil. Vil means one who must go to the other side. Amig means one you can trust in battle. Then follow me, Domin. Are you ready to step into the labyrinth, Domin? This is the ritual of binding. By the Undying One's will, our fates are now as one. But I must still guide you into the maze of my mind. Although it is my predestination alone to walk its corridors in search of answers, your image must become part of the tangle. For I am your shadow, Domin, and your presence will aid me in sensing whatever threats may be looming over you. Instructions, directions, a depiction of the puzzle that can only be solved within one's own consciousness by following its bends and turnings. I do not require these lines to find my way, but for you, they will serve as a guiding thread. Your weapon for the ritual. Watch the lines on the floor. You can only pass through the gaps. The rest, you need not know. Enter the labyrinth, Domin. You are now upon the path. Your shadow now walks the labyrinth, and my gaze can now see when danger draws near you. You are not required to understand. You have joined the ritual. That will suffice. Understand me? Why, Domin? My fate is preordained, and our places assigned. We both must serve the Undying One, as his design foretells. But if such is indeed your wish, my path of service to the Undying Emperor is one of many twists and pitfalls. Every mind is fraught with weakness, and only by honing it tirelessly can one achieve focus and prime one's perception. I envision the tenets of the web as a maze of tangles and dead ends. Each time I go into a trance, be it one of the soul or of battle, I walk this path from beginning to end. And now that you're a part of it, you will be there with me when next I enter the labyrinth. You may deem it strange. You live in a world so far removed from my own that such rituals must seem absurd to you. I am sure I would find your rituals equally mystifying. You are empowered by the will of the Undying One himself, and yet, when I look at your life, I am surprised. You follow a different thread, one that does not seem as strict to your thoughts and deeds. There is so much luster. To partake in one of your ceremonies? Returning the courtesy. That is how you say it up here, isn't it? I will await your invitation. The labyrinth has accepted you, We have danced amid the crossing lines and mites, and by the dance, we are now bound.
Follow my lead.
I better myself through my service.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Victory awaits.
Afraid not. If I may. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. Do not dare ask. If I may.
Are more pleasant to give than to follow.
The Emperor sets my path. Onward!
Weakness.
I'm listening. Request denied. Watching the lazy handle sacred technology breaks my heart. Figuratively speaking, my cardiovascular augmentation can withstand much more than high blood pressure. My vow is to serve. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Operation successful.
It's about time.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
I'm restless. Be strong. Greater trials lie ahead.
My frail organics require this. Flesh is weak,
Join
yet
me
iron
in
knows
prayer.
no pain.
Sins hidden in the heart turn all.
Function as one.
When the faithful are idle,
My
herald.
frail organics required it.
Color the uncolored.
None shall stand in my way.
You are authorized.
The Emperor sets
Data meditation is terminated. Running binary override.
Ready as always. I can do that, with the right incentive.
Take a knee and bow before me.
I am a navigator, not a servitor. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Don't get too cocky.
Be careful not to cross my gaze.
Watching the lazy
I'm at your service. Marching on.
A formidable accomplice for a formidable gold trader.
Your seneschal is always there for you.
I woke up with a feeling of wonder, as if a field of flowers was blossoming nearby. A child was saved from...
I tire of violence.
ready predicted input. The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
I'm restless. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it. Carry the Emperor's will as your torch.
Follow my lead! I won't tolerate weakness.
The fall of Reichard Minoris is a blow to all of the Expanse. I imagine Winterscale will be enraged when he finds out.
I nurtured a spark of hope that Urak 5 could still be saved. But now my home is lost. Forever.
That didn't go as I'd hoped. I'll lay claim to the stars.
My pleasure.
Join me in prayer. Doubt is for the weak.
Some choose well, others
I'm
prepare.
listening. Running binaric override.
Do you require?
They say a little bit of humility never hurt.
The Emperor sets my path. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Do you dare to look me in the eye? Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. If I may. I am a navigator, not a servitor. I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
I'll do it. I'm restless. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it. This is unacceptable. As the Emperor commands, I act.
We must act. A new challenge for me? I tire of idleness, let's move. Nothing I can't do. I don't have time for this. Doubt is for the weak. All too easy. Already done. Not a problem for me. suits my purposes.
Join me in prayer.
None shall stand in my way. We shall prevail. Nothing I can't do.
In the presence of House Orcelio. Color the uncolored. My house would be proud of me.